Have you ever wished you could bring someone back to life? Tonight, I'll tell you about Ellie and the fateful words she found after her brother was gone forever. 1 year after Tom's accident, Ellie sat alone in his room. Every shelf still held his games and gadgets, as if he stepped through the door at any moment. On the gloomy anniversary, she discovered a tiny scrap of paper tucked inside his dusty game book. In childish handwriting, she saw 3 simple words: Fukatsu no Jumon, revival spell. Ellie laughed to herself, a secret code from days they played together, chanting silly lines into the darkness. She didn't believe in magic, but a heart ached for one last chance. She typed the code into the old gaming console. The screen stayed black. Then, with a soft hum, tiny letters glowed. Hands trembling, Ellie pressed a single line of text scrawled across the screen. Welcome home, Tom. She felt her breath catch. The monitor flickered, then went blank again. Outside, midnight rain pattered against the window. Shadows shifted in the room, and she thought, now she hoped she heard his laughter. The next morning, Ellie awoke to a creak at her door. She froze. Tom stood there, wet from the storm, hair clustered to his forehead. He looked around with wide brown eyes that held months of questions. Ellie, he whispered. She could only nod, tears streaming down her cheeks. He stepped forward, his hand finding hers, just like old times. They spent hours talking. He told her about the accident, how he felt himself slipping away. She listened, relieved to hear his voice. Later, they sat at the kitchen table, sharing cereal and memories of childhood pranks. It felt like a dream finally come true. But as dust settled, something changed. Tom's voice cracked when he spoke about tomorrow. A faint flicker in his eyes made Ellie's heart race. She reached out to touch his cheek, but the hand passed through him like a ghost. His body wavered, pixels scattering into the dark corners of the room. No, Ellie cried, clutching the air. Tom faded, his form unraveling like an unfinished game. Before he vanished completely, he whispered, I was never truly alive again. Then he was gone. Ellie sank to the floor. Clutching the revival code, she booted the console once more. The screen glowed with a new message. Game over. Beneath it, a final line crept into view. Do you want to play a game? Ellie stared at the blinking cursor, tears shining in her eyes. The rain tapped harder outside, as if urging her on. With one trembling finger, she moved it toward the A button and paused, because some spells promise life, but only give you the ghost of a memory. And some games you can never really win.